I obviously don't want to ruin anybody's enjoyment of this film, but we all realize that it's just reverse Home Alone, right? Blitz is the latest film by Steve McQueen. You know, a different Steve McQueen starred in The Great Escape, which was a pretty definitive take on the positions that American prisoners of war ended up in during World War II. Schindler's List can be described as a pretty definitive take on the Holocaust itself. The battles of World War II, there's kind of way too many films and way too many battles to actually say there's a definitive take on any of them. Blitz aims for something different, though. It's trying, and in my opinion, it kind of succeeds, at trying to be a definitive take on life inside Britain itself during World War II. I think it nailed it. It was nice to squeeze this film in between rewatches of the Paddington movies, because in that you've got pop-up London, but in this they blow up London. Yeah, it's easy to forget, because Britain won the war, that they were losing for quite a bit of it. And this takes place over a few days in 1940 during the Blitz, when the shit had really hit the fan, and they were just... The destructive shots of London you see throughout this are chilling. In fact, that's the best way to describe the entire film, because it feels like it was built as an anti-war device from the ground up as a horror film. That's certainly how it was described to Hans Zimmer, because this man created the most chilling soundtrack since Halloween for this film for some ungodly reason. And there are so many moments, maybe it was partly because it was in cinema, where it felt like so aggressively loud that I was jumping as if it was an actual horror movie I was watching. It was incredibly built. Rita decides to send her son George to the countryside to escape the living costs of London, I mean the Blitz, and he jumps off the train, scallywag that he is, because he wants to be with her, but he also did tell her that he hates her, then loses her, fights the entire film to get back home to her, and there are thieves, but he's forced to join them instead of fighting against them. It is literally reverse Home Alone, I'm not kidding here. Blitz also continues modern cinema's favourite obsession with having a white lead, have a mixed race child, and then like a black partner who's just not in the picture, is dead or something. Yeah. This is happening a lot nowadays, and I'm glad that they actually use it this time to call out racism in Britain at wartime. They do that really well throughout, and I mean, especially with the scenes that... featuring Ife, the true hero of the film. I loved that character. As if the soundtrack didn't make this enough of a horror movie, people also keep saying to this kid, oh, I'll be right back, and then they go betray him or they go die. It's brutal. This kid would have serious trust issues and trauma if mental health existed in the 1940s. What? Anyway, Blitz is one of those films that it's not really trying to tell just an individual story. It wants to be an entire snapshot of life in London at that time, and I think it does marvelously well. It is jumpy because it's trying to show so many different things at once. It's trying to show life for the women in the factories at the time. It's trying to show all of the horrors of the German bombing and just how everyday it was for them having to go down to the shelters and stuff like that. It is beautiful, I think, but it is less of a focus on one individual story, even though it is these main characters throughout, than you might expect it to be. The scene where Saoirse Ronan sings for the radio, the scene where the kid crawls out from under the boat, the flooding scene, the train scene. There are so many incredibly iconic moments that are just, they feel like that immediately. Just watching it in cinema for the first time, I'm like, that, right there, that was cinema. Saoirse is incredible. That's not the first time I've said that this, month. The kid was also awesome. I don't think I've seen him in anything before, but wow. If they need more casting for Stranger Things Season 5, maybe finally bring in some new child actors. I think it was incredible. I loved that the ending wasn't full despair or full triumph. It was built like a horror movie because the war was a horror, and that is awesome. The way that they managed to balance these feelings, these emotions that they're imbuing you with throughout the film. I think it was just half British Stand By Me and half... Actually, there aren't that many films about women during the war. No. Then I'm giving Long Overdue 4.5 stars. Saoirse Ronan literally is just the best. I mean, there are so few actors working today who could star in such radically different films released a month apart and be the best thing about both of them. If you like unsubtle praising of every Irish actor out there today, subscribe!